every guy at some point, right? I mean, just wait a half an hour. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Hi. Hello, and welcome to the Jib. This bi-weekly podcast is about the many and varied schemes of the many and varied U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies, organizations, and committees, and how they are stupid and funny. I had to stop doing that thing because it would get too long and take over the podcast. Just stupid and funny, okay? Join us on our merry journey through space and time. Hi. My name is Barry, and I still can't open those weird little milk carton things without getting it all over myself.
It's a risky endeavor there. Yeah,
it is. Can you do that? I don't know anybody who can do it without.
I don't really drink milk much, so I haven't.
Or they put other things in those cartons.
Yeah, the orange juice. Yeah, I like orange juice.
No, I can't open those either.
Anyways, hello everybody. I'm Seamus, and you may know me from such voiceover work on such audiobooks and documentaries as the half-assed approach to taxidermy, tailgating with vegans, in Pushing the Cushion, a love seat story.
Okay, can I just get you? Can I just circle back to half? What is it? Half-assed approach to taxidermy. Yeah. Can we just kind of picture the squirrel that would be the result of a half-assed approach to taxidermy? Jesus Christ, man! Oh, yeah. You didn't even write it. You just did the voiceover.
yeah. I think it all looks like roadkill at the end, but I don't.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, but we didn't here to come to talk about half-baked squirrels, did we?
No,
we came here to discuss. I don't actually know because he hasn't told me. He hasn't given me the script.
So,
I assume it's something to do with the FBI. Is that fair?
Yep. Okay. FBI and other nasty bits.
Do you have photos?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
January 10th, 1947.
Okay.
Alice Williams was born in Lumberton, North Carolina, not Indiana.
Alice Williams.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. North Carolina, not Indiana. We're not doing a David Lynch film.
Sure.
Her mother, Rosabelle, took care of her household, while her father, Walter Williams Jr., worked full-time as a truck driver and part-time beat the shit out of his mother.
No.
Her mother, that is.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. Her mother tired of being a punching bag, called her brother to come and help her, and took her two daughters, moved back to Lumberton in 1958, then the Bronx. The Bronx. New York.
Yeah, New York.
In the Bronx, Alice got into fights with boys and girls alike at school in her neighborhood. Despite her festering rage, Alice performed well in school. Her test scores got her into Bronx High School of Science, but she became more interested in the streets and joined the Disciple Dems, a women's gang in Harlem. Yeah. All I wanted was protection. That's what every woman wants, to feel secure. In 1968, she noticed, I don't know why she sounded like a badass. Man, you sound like a badass there. But anyways, in 1968, she is a badass. But I digress. She noticed the man standing on the corner. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get it. I should have put a picture of her. I couldn't find like a very young picture of this person. That's young Alice there.
Well, she ain't old there.
No. So, La. She noticed on the court, 1968, she was walking, in New York, standing on the corner, speaking in front of a crowd. There was a man that had gathered the crowd. He was a member of the Black Panther Party.
What year is this?
1968.
Thank you.
He was a co-founder. His name was Bobby Seale.
Seale, of course.
That's him on the right. And Carmichael was on the left there.
Stokey.
Yep, Stokey. Thank you. So the crowd drew her attention, but what made her stop was Seale's words. Quote, he was just saying that we could all...
in the background, isn't it?
I don't... Oh, yeah, that was at a rally for years. Yep. We could all do something about the police who were in our community. I just joined that in August, totally freaked out that some young people would have the heart to go to state legislatures with guns and just stand there and say, "Get your hands off my gun." It was probably the glamour and the romanticism that brought me into the party. So you see where this might be going. Through the Panthers. What's that?
Glamour and romanticism, don't we?
Right.
Show me your
gun.
Through
the Panthers. Through the Panthers, she soon met and fell in love with Lumbamba Shakur, the leader of the Harlem chapter. With the charismatic and intelligent Lumbamba, I hope I'm getting that right. Alice seemingly found the security she'd been looking for all those years. She claims her relationship with Lumumba, his family, and the Panthers changed her views on men, and she found that her voice could be heard. The two married shortly after, with Alice even converting to Islam. She,
Alhamdulillah.
she was assigned the Orosha Oya, who is the Yoruba deity of weather, death, rebirth, and given name Afena, which means dear one and lover of people in 1968.
Okay.
So now
That's her Islam name, is it?
So now she's Afeni Shakur.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I lost my place. But when it came to the logistics of Afena's relationship with Lubumba, the circumstances were awkward, to say the least. He already had a wife.
Uh-oh.
The trio lived together for a period while Lubumba bounced back and forth between the two women.
All right.
So that's a way to do it, I guess.
He was passed back and forth between the two women, like a limp rag.
Yeah, I'm sure he was really bothered by this, right?
I'm sure he was really drained.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Afena threw herself into the work with the Panthers. She wrote a newsletter, became a section leader of the Harlem chapter, and did extensive volunteer work at such places as Lincoln Hospital, all while making ends meet. As a school teacher through the Panthers, she was able to find a kind of spiritual rebirth.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's not a very good picture. I'm sorry. It didn't load very.
Okay.
It looked better, but for some reason it's loading weird. Yeah. Quote.
That means some low-res Fina Shakur action.
Yeah, that's it. They educated my mind and gave me direction. With that direction came hope, and I love them for that, for giving me that, because I never had hope in my life. I never dreamed of a better place or hoped for a better world for my mama and my sister and me. Now, but for some reason, the police and the FBI, they didn't see the Panthers the same reason as Afena. I don't know if you don't know that.
Here we go.
But between 1967 and 69, the party was involved in several altercations with the police, including arguments, protests, shootings, bombs, and raids that led damages, injuries, and deaths.
Well, we spoke about these things before, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We're going to be revisiting just that briefly here.
Okay.
Their socialist ideology and advocacy of armed self-defense was deemed to be an existential threat. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover said it was declared that the Black Panther Party, without question, represents the greatest threat to the internal security of our country.
We had that phrase during the Freddie Hampton episode, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
The very same phrase, which is just as ludicrous, in the middle of the bunch of armed conflicts they were involved with.
Right.
Panthers are the biggest.
The Cold War. I mean, everything, right? California Governor Ronald Reagan, the actor, signed the Mumford Act, repealing an earlier law that allowed citizens to carry loaded firearms as an explicit measure to crack down on the Panthers. Seems like the NRA would be upset by this, don't you think?
Oh, I'm sure they had people on the streets after that.
Yeah, so... wait a minute. Actually, Reagan became the first president to be endorsed by the NRA. So, hey, guess it was...
They signed up to this thing.
They're okay with that, I guess.
Are you implying that the NRA is like white supremacist?
Oh, what? Actually, they became that during this time. We'll like do the NRA.
I remember. Do you remember when I think it was Jacksonville protest when the police were so unkind to black people, the black people took to the streets and so on, and then the police were kind of rounding them up and so on. I said, now is your time. Now is the NRA's time. But of course, they're black people, so they did nothing.
No, very selective.
The NRA is a black people or white people's gun party.
Yep. But by the 1960s, the Panthers were prime targets of the FBI and the COINTEL program designed to infiltrate, discredit the Panthers and other radical left groups. On December 4th, 1969, as we discussed in our previous episode, which would be episode 3, I believe, the deputy chairman of the Panthers, Fred Hampton, was assassinated by the Chicago police, along with Mark Clark, in a pre-dawn raid, having been drugged earlier by FBI informant to ensure he wouldn't escape.
You should definitely listen to that episode, by the way. Fred Hampton is in 3 parts, and Seamus wrote them all, and they are very good.
Thank you.
And I'm just sitting there listening to it. They're well written, and they hit all the points, and they're good episodes of any podcast anywhere. I'd put it up against anything. So go listen. It's one of the first ones we did. Go back and listen to it. It's good stuff.
Very kind of you. Checks in the mail. One way,
$10 is $10.
yeah, one way COINTELPRO works is FBI finds a way to get the target group to escalate their behaviors to include acts of violence or some sort of terrorism, so they could return, the act in kind, right?
Okay.
So it was Yadawas Sudin, a fellow member of the Harlem chapter. Something was just off about him, according to Afena. She could feel it. He was aggressive and short-tempered. He was eagerly careless, talked about committing acts of violence directed towards police. Afena told Lumbamba about her suspicions that Yadawa was not who he was.
Yeah, the Judy Barry protocol.
And Lubombo would be later told attorneys about the suspicions. Man, he couldn't be a cop. You should have seen the shit he did. But as Afena remembers, I was pushing and pushing for women to have more rights in the party, and we forget about Yedwa because I knew he was a fucking cop from the beginning. Lubombo wouldn't listen, right?
Because he kept trying to push for the more action and more violence. Yeah.
So that's another thing. I think we did touch this on the Fred Hampton groups. But,
yes.
There was a lot of sexism in the Panthers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The one chapter you would not find it is in the Fred Hampton chapter.
Yeah.
Because he fucking just flat out told him, look, if you have a problem with any of our sisters, I'm coming down there and straighten you out.
Yeah. So, socialism without women is not socialism. It's something else. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a picture of Fred Hampton, that big, beautiful man? If he came down and touched you in a right way, it would be glorious. No, I mean, he could be threatening, I imagine. Yeah.
Yes. I've also seen pictures of Fred Hampton. The things I would let that man do to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah. We're good. We're good.
Okay. Yet the very overtures towards street violence and hyper-aggression roused Afena's suspicion, only proved to some Panther charade Yawanda's authenticity. Because, Yadwas, it's not even his real name. I don't know why I'm concerned. But Yadwas Sedin was really NYPD officer.
Oh, it's his Islam name, is it?
Ralph White was his real name.
There you go. Oh, okay.
Ralph! A guy named Ralph.
Dude, if I was in the Black Panthers and my name is White, I'd change it too.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. So.
Well, Barry White didn't. But he's black as Christmas. So, yeah.
Anyways, I don't. You got to imagine though. What would it be like if for the cops to actually do this kind of infiltration thing? I mean, could you imagine that, Barry?
Well, I don't think we have to. I think we have some original VT from the 60s.
Yeah.
60s of this, don't we?
Yeah, man. I tell you, these fucking pigs got to go. We got to fucking do something, man. We got to do something.
Yeah, man. It's about time we shut down the bacon factory. Am I right?
Yeah, it's just out of hand, I mean, these fucking cops. We gotta
kill some of them with our guns and our dynamite, man.
Take the action to another level, man. That's right.
Dude, I got some dynamite in my car. I
got some dynamite in my car.
I got some dynamite.
I got dynamite.
I got dynamite.
Joe?
Tony?
Joe, is that you?
Tony! Yeah! Tony! Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it, man. That was original, accurate VT of some of the action, because people wonder how would that possibly have worked, like what kind of things would they say and what would they do, and it's very rare for us to get some actual historically accurate. You got that from the archives, didn't you, in Washington D.C.?
Yes, with all those videos. It was a lot of work. Anywho,
anyway, it's the
5 a.m. April 2nd, 1969. When Detective Frank Dalton and 4 other
5 a.m. man, fuck that noise already.
I know, right? That means that these guys had to get up. These guys had to get up even earlier to go there. I mean, come on, fuck that. Ugh. Yeah. NYPD officers arrived unannounced at what hopes would be unannounced at their home at 112 West 117th Street.
Don't dox them.
It's a little late, but okay. Dalton lit a rag. And then the other officers collectively shout fire to lure Lumbamba and Afena out of their apartment before arresting the couple.
Did he throw the rag into the house?
That's what it looks like here. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Along with 8 other Black Panthers, Afena and Lumbamba were arrested and indicted on 156 charges stemming from attacks on 4 police stations between 68 and 59. They're alleged planning to bomb a computer railroad,
factory. Yeah.
New York, botanical garden, and 5 department stores in New York.
Okay, this sounds like bullshit.
In total, 21 members of the party were who became known as the Panther 21 were named in the indictment. Right. Bail was set at $100,000 for 13 who were apprehended and went on to appear in court. And it turns out it wasn't just white NYPD officers, Tony and Joe. I mean, Eugene Roberts Eugene Roberts and Carlos Ashwood had also successfully infiltrated their chapter, providing crucial testimony that helped secure the indictments.
Okay.
Afeni vehemently denied the accusations.
She what? She something denied?
She denied it. Denied.
What's the first word before denied?
Vehemently.
Vehemently. Sorry. Yes. Carry on.
Yeah. By George Bush's verbiage is coming through. White. I need to agree to that. Quack. White as Yedwa hadn't merely spied on them; he lied them into a trap. One only Afeni saw coming, as we said. The prosecutors were led by Joseph A. Phillips, a skilled lawyer from the Manhattan District's attorney's office. Luckily, the Panthers were able to raise money for the defense for attorneys, including William Gain, Gerald LaCroft, Carol LaCroft, Robert Bloom, Sanford Katz, and Charles McKinney.
Okay.
Lubamba handpicked Carol LaCroft to serve as the primary defense for Afeni, but Afeni took issues with this. Quote, Carol LaCroft was a tiny squeaky, Carol LaCroft had a tiny squeaky voice, and I thought, hell no, she ain't representing me. Not sounding like that, the judge wouldn't be able to hear her objections. Not with that voice. There was no meat in her voice, no resonance, no assurance. Hey, I'm facing the same 350 years as anyone else is facing, and I'm not going down like that.
She's hardcore, this one, isn't she?
Yeah.
Does not fuck around.
No, she does not. And with her life on the line, Afeni decided to do what everybody else would say was crazy. She decided to represent herself in court. Yep.
She doesn't have any legal training, does she?
No.
Okay.
Lubamba tried to persuade her to change her mind, but Afeni held firm and, basically told him to fuck
That's a
off.
bad idea.
Yeah, the defense team was understandably apprehensive, but the way that Afeni handled herself in court would shock them, not least which Afeni herself. I just thought I was writing my own obituary. But Afeni was entirely on her own. During the interactions, many people and organizations publicly supported the Panther 21, raised money for them, for their bail, legal defense. Abby Hoffman helped put up bail money for other defendants. Various churches, New York, helped raise money for the defendants. The composer Leonard Bernstein and his wife Felicia hosted parties to raise money. Yeah, there's a whole... They try to fuck with them over that, too. That's a whole other...
With Leonard Bernstein?
Yeah, they did.
The FBI?
Yeah.
Oh, the FBI came for Leonard Bernstein, man. That's theater major.
They kill him, but they try to fuck with him.
Man, they're fucked. He's a theater major, man. He's going to sing songs about that. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Created the Women's House of Detention. Afeni developed a relationship with a group of supportive women on the outside who participated in the labor movement in the 40s and 50s. And although many of them were older and many of them were white, they were hardened radicals who knew what it meant to go up against the state, especially women. I also didn't, and I'll make this real quick because I didn't put this in the script because there's a lot bit to it. While she was, I believe it was when she was first arrested, while she was waiting for bail, Stonewall went down.
Oh.
And the detention center wasn't far from Stonewall.
Nice.
And they saw what was going on, so they caused a riot inside to the collaboration with them as support.
Yeah,
and she's yeah.
This is like they'll tell you that intersectionality is not real or not important or something, but this lady had trouble inside one of the most, if you want to call it radical, anti-racist movements, the Black Panther Party, and she still had trouble trying to get feminist concerns heard. And women inside that movement had a completely different experience of racism than the men did. It's real,
Yeah,
you got to look after people.
Yep. But I mean, fortunately for her and some other women after her, I mean, she didn't take no shit. So she definitely paved the way for a lot of this. So
Yeah, there's a number of women in history who didn't take no shit, and they're
Yeah.
all very interesting people.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. So they'd write her to visit her and ask how they'd help. She asked them to create a bail fund for other incarcerated women who needed less than $500 for bail. They did so, and they also created a bail fund for Afena. And on March 1970, following 11 months in prison, Afena made bail for the first time. While she wasn't yet free,
11
she
months.
was
Okay.
awaiting trial, right?
Hmm.
She was no longer incarcerated, and though she and others believed her life was essentially over at this point, she was preparing for the fight of her life.
Yeah.
During her time in prison, Afena and Lubamba had grown distant. The prosecution was able to successfully limit the amount of time the defendants could spend together outside of court. And in the few times that the two were able to meet, Lubamba repeatedly asked Afena to have sex, even with the other defendants and lawyers present.
I mean,
She refused.
It's difficult to keep a relationship together when like someone's in jail and so on. But man, you got to keep your shit together. And you got another one anyway in the house, any?
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's what the fuck, man. I mean,
It's nothing they haven't seen before. It's fine. Go on.
Yeah, it's just what the fuck. It's fucked up. She refused. This, along with reoccurring disagreements throughout the trial, led to further deterioration of the relationship.
No
While
shit.
she was out on bail, Afena, this probably also added to it. Afena became pregnant with fellow Black Panther Billy Garland's child.
Yeah, that'll cause a rift, won't it?
Yeah. Once Lubamba found out, he disavowed her as his wife. The open status of the relationship apparently only applied to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that nowadays, don't you?
Right.
If you have a quick skim through Reddit, you'll see a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
I opened up the relationship and now it's all gone horribly. Hey, you fuckwit.
Yeah, sometimes when it's complicated on Facebook, it's not so complicated.
Yeah, it's fairly simple, yeah. I fucked around, I found out.
Exactly. With Lubamba turning his back on her, Afena was even more alone. The trial began on September 1970. Afena wasn't afraid to challenge the judge to get back and forth banter with him when displeased and raise objections towards the prosecution. She tactfully interviewed witnesses and led cross-examinations, although she was a seasoned attorney. From the outside,
she must have done some reading in the 11 months about how to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, it does help. I'm sure she got a lot of education from those radical folks that she spent a lot of time, not even before.
They'll give her a crack
while she's in prison, right? You know, she networked with a lot of people, so I'm sure that helped.
Watched a lot of Perry Mason.
Right, yeah, that's probably all they had back then, right? Afena had her bail, unfortunately, after two defendants jumped bail, Afena had her bail revoked on February 3rd, 1971, shortly after Huey P. Newton dismissed all the defendants besides Afena and Joan Bird from the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
Since Afena and Bird were the only two women on the trial, unlike the men, made no attempt to flee on bail, they were spared. So that's, politics, I guess. With bail revoked, Afena was once again behind bars at the decrepit New York Women's House of Detention. Afena was later bailed out the second time by the same group of women who put up the money the first time around, but any period of time in those conditions put not only a health risk to her, but her unborn child as well.
Oh, dear.
As for the Panthers, Afena was quickly grown disenchanted with the organization. It didn't sit right with her that most of the other defendants were kicked out because of the bail jump. Even worse, in April 17, 1971, a man named Sam Napier, the circulation manager of the Black Panther newspaper, who was a close friend of her, but he had been tied to a chair and shot to death in a Panther office in Corona. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So that may be part of another episode at some point. We'll see.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the first of
Leonard Bernstein episode was still working on it. You imagine him coming like 5 o'clock in the morning ready to raid Leonard Bernstein. 3 Puerto Ricans at the top course. I mean, this is going to be fucking fantastic.
I don't know if there's enough for an episode on Bernstein. I'll have to look at it again. It's been a while. First of the three,
excuse to sing a bunch of songs in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, that's it. The first of the three undercover officers to take the stand was Eugene Roberts.
I remember him.
He was considered the prosecutor's star witness, but his reports of what he observed on
And the other guy's Carlos.
Panther 21. Yep. And Ralph White Sailor. Doing were too vague to fit the charges. On further questioning, Roberts revealed that the group had not planned any of the kind for the supposed bombing campaign.
Robert said.
Yep.
His case was that they had, and now he's saying under oath that they had not.
Yeah, when he's pressed, everything's falling apart.
But she'd been in jail for fucking 11 months, and now she's pregnant, you prick.
His insistence that the charges were true, that the bombs were imminent. I personally believe something was going to be done, but it didn't. But I didn't know when.
I'd say whenever you planted the bombs, Roberts, that's when it would have happened.
Yeah. I should have put up this photo. So this was pretty much a daily occurrence.
Oh wow, that's a tense scene.
Yep. So
who's that Samuel L. Jackson character there in the middle?
I don't know specifics on who's who.
Okay,
but,
sorry.
Yep. So the violence Afeni had spent her lifetime trying to escape her was now taking over the party she had once seen salvation. Wait a minute, let's skip this. Robert's uninspiring testimony had already dealt prosecutor a serious blow. It was now up to White for the state to win. He would have to make a case that all defendants, including Afeni, were not just members of a radical political party, perhaps even extremists, but violent terrorists who, before they were arrested, were on the cusp of unleashing a wave of murder and mayhem.
White is one of the Black Panthers, isn't he?
Sorry?
White is one of the Black Panthers, isn't he?
He's one of the undercover cops.
Oh, he's not. He's the. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's the one that she, flat out said, that guy's a fucking cop. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
That's okay. See, he fooled you too. It's okay.
Fuck it. I thought he was a Black Panther member. Yeah. Good work.
He had you fooled.
Good work.
Yeah. This all meant that Afeni would finally get her chance to face White 101, which was obviously personal for her.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I have another photo of her.
What the hell of a photo you have up now?
This photo isn't during but I think it's like leading up to it. So it's around this time. So I thought it was a nice picture of her.
I'd like to than the other one. The world to sing in perfect harmony. Do, 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 do.
Not just because you said you wanted to sing doesn't mean. Anywho, so she started off by saying, "Why, Yadwa, have you done this to us?" It was the first thing she said to White since his arrest. In her first question to him on the stand, Afeni asked him how he would characterize, in his words, not the rhetoric, but the day-to-day work the Black Panthers were doing, and more important, how he would characterize her own work. White, as far as your involvement, I thought you were more militant than political. Shakur, what involvement? White, I can't remember everything you said or everything you had done, or even all the actions, but I was only basing your own opinion on what I saw about you or about anyone else. Shakur, I understand that, but you said that there were things that you saw me doing. I just want to hear one thing. White, I remember a meeting at the Panthers office, and you were real charged up about. You went into a thing about icing the pigs along with military things, and very emotional. I remember that plus other things. I can't remember offhand. I only saying what I based my opinions on, what had seen and heard, and I've forgotten most of them.
Did he not run through the basic evidence before he did the night before? Like, is he drunk?
Shakur, did you ever see me at Lincoln Hospital working? White, yes, I have. Did you ever receive me at the school working? White, yes, I have. Shakur, ever see me in the street working? White, yes, I have. Shakur, are these some of the things that led you to think that I was militant-minded? White, no, it was not. Shakur, you don't remember the other things. White, at the time I remembered them then, I remember you reminded me of good things you were doing. If you reminded me of some of the things you said, I could answer that.
Oh, I get him. English is his second language. I understand now.
Yeah. Shakur, yes, I guess so.
You mean, can you think of anything I did? No. Well, let me give you an example of several things I did. I did X, Y, Z.
Right?
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. The state's case rested almost entirely on the testimony of the undercover agents, and the testimony relied almost entirely on militant rhetoric, fighting words, little more. The cross-examination,
Militant rhetoric that he
yeah,
probably made up.
yeah. Afeni had dealt a major blow. April 2nd, 1971, 2 years after the members of Panther 21 were arrested, Officer Carlos Ashwood,
Carlos.
prosecutor Joseph Phillips' final witness, had taken to the stand in late March. And he didn't prove any more useful to the prosecution than the previous two officers. Afeni made him come across very childish. Shakur, did you ever see me kill anybody? Ashwood, I never saw you kill anybody. Shakur, did you ever see me blow anything up? Ashwood, I never saw you blow anything up. Over the course of the next several weeks, Phillips resorted to outbursts of emotions to fight for some unraveling of the case.
Yeah.
After all that was left was for the defense counsel, prosecutor, and judge to speak directly to the jury.
In fact, have you ever seen me commit any crime at all?
Right.
No, I have not. No, you talk a lot, but that's it.
Afeni was selected to speak second to last among the defense counsel.
Okay.
Despite her successful cross-examination, no one was certain what the outcome would be. Ironically, it was only now that she felt she was fighting for the chance that she had softened. She was no longer the brazen woman who decided to go down swinging. The anger had been with her as a girl's abusive home. Later, she found a purpose in the Panthers, which had fled her. Standing with the jury in her white smock, she was something else altogether. By the way, I'm quoting part of this from a Jacobin article. Although she, for the first time of her life, vulnerable, her life with the life of her unborn son hung the balance with a dozen strangers' decisions. She dropped the righteous and romantic rhetoric that she used to attack in her first attacks to the Panthers as a young woman. Instead, she stared ahead at the jury of 12, speaking from the heart. Quote, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know how I am supposed to justify the charges that Mr. Phillips has brought before the court against me. But I do know that none of these charges has proven, and I am not talking about proven beyond a reasonable doubt. I am saying that none of these charges have been proven, period. That nothing has been proven in this courtroom. That I or any of the defendants did any of these things that Mr. Phillips insists we did. So, why are we here? Why are any of us here? I don't know. But I would appreciate if you end this nightmare, because I'm tired of it, and I can't justify my mind. There's no logical reason for us to have gone through it. The past 2 years, as we have to threaten with imprisonment because somebody somewhere is watching and waiting to justify being a spy. So do what you have to do, but please don't forget what you saw and what you heard in this courtroom. Let history record you as the jury that would not kneel to the outrageous blinding of the state. Show us that we were not wrong in assuming that you would judge us fairly. And remember that that's all we are asking of you. Phillips went on next, but where Afeni was sincere and vulnerable, he was arrogant and insulting.
Oh.
He attempted to harden the jury's hearts against a pregnant woman who he had spoken to them to save her life. Picking up on a growing sympathy among the jury for Afeni, he accused them of forgetting the facts of the case. Despite of how poorly it was going, Justice Murtaugh, the judge, spoke as if Phillips had taken the advantage when the defense motioned to objection. Quote, apparently he's doing too well for you. Be seated. Which just like, dude, where are you at in this? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Around 4 p.m. on May 12, 1971, Murtaugh was informed that the jury had rendered a verdict. It had only taken them about 20 minutes. Assuming that a verdict would be guilty, she spent 25 minutes taking security measures. Or he spent taking security measures because you already saw, the tensions outside were. When the juries arrived at 4:35 p.m., they were delivered a unanimous verdict: 156 utterances of not guilty.
Okay.
After juror James Ingram Fox said not guilty for the final time, Afeni burst into tears. The bomb was shouted. Each of the defendants came together and cried, yelled, and celebrated with one another. More than 25 months after the arrest, they were all free. Afterwards, the defendants and the jurors at the law offices of Crane and LaCroft gathered to celebrate. One juror, impressed of how Afeni had defended her actions in the court, and asked her what her secret was. She said, "Fear, plain fear." Yeah. A little over a month later, Afeni gave birth on June 16th, 1971. She named her son Lassane Parish Crooks. A few days later, she changed his name to Shapak Amor Shakur. After the great Incan leader, I wanted him to know he was a part of a world culture and not just from the neighborhood. I wanted him to have a name of a revolutionary indigenous people in the world. She didn't return to the Black Panthers. Instead, she married Matula Shakur, who was a member of the Black Liberation Army. Not related, by the way, for those that don't understand it. Shakur is a Islamic name, right? In the 1975, the same year, their daughter, Sakura Shakur, was born. They divorced in 82. Shakur worked as a paralegal. Sakura? Sekyiwa.
Okay.
They divorced in 82. Shakur worked as a paralegal before descending into drug addiction in the 80s, unfortunately. She moved her family to Baltimore, Maryland in 84. She relocated to Marion County, California to manage her drug issue. In 89, her son left home because of her. 2 years later, they reconciled. She overcame her addiction and moved back to New York in 91. She started NA as a Narcotics Anonymous meetings. 9 months later, in recovery program, Tupac sent her $5,000, even though their relationship was strained. Although Tupac struggled with the relationship with his mother, he paid her tribute in a song called Dear Mama. In the song, he reflects on the childhood, acknowledges Afeni's troubles of addiction, expressed his love for her after Tupac died. Spoiler alerts, if nobody knew that. In Vegas, on September 13th, 1996, she had him cremated the next day. 2004, Shakur released her biography, Afeni Shakur, Evolution of a Revolutionary. Her biography, which was written in part by Jasmine Guy, she reflected on her childhood experiences, her upbringing, as well as her involvement in the Black Panthers. Shakur traveled across the U.S., making guest appearances on deliverance lectures. On February 6, 2009, she gave keynote speak to Vanderbilt University commemoration for the Black History Month. She shared with people the experiences and the way to overcome loss. Afeni Shakur died at a hospital in Greenbrier, California, around 10:28 p.m. May 2nd, 2016, after going into cardiac arrest at her home earlier that evening. She was 69. And that's the story of Panthers 21 and Afeni Shakur.
How about that?
So,
and everywhere she went, people are like, "Yeah, that's great about the Black Panther stuff, but I have two questions about
right?
Yeah.
So,
do you like no Dr. Dre?
Right? Yeah, that's awesome.
She sounds super cool.
Yeah, she's a badass. Is what she
was.
Yeah.
The weird stuff on the dismount, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so that's all I got. So.
Okay, so that's the so what happens now?
We do the next thing.
What happens next? What happens now? It's close enough. I told you to switch it to whatever that thing was. You don't listen. That's always been your problem.
I don't.
You don't listen. I send you emails. I send you DMs on the Twitter, and I'd say the same thing. I said, "Oh, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to edit it in or whatever." You know, this is weird because I'm telling you this now, so you could have edited it in by now, but you still won't have, will you? It's still going to be the same thing.
Probably not.
Okay. Sorry. This is called the What's New section. Apparently, we're calling it What's New now, and this is what happens. We put in, for people who haven't seen this before, and let's face it, you all have. This we put FBI, the word FBI and the word CIA into Google, and we hit the news tab, and we see what like oncoming madness is happening this week. So, do you want to go first with FBI, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Although the first
do it.
Clicked
do
on,
it.
Probably just crashed. It just crashed on me. Okay, I'll just sum it up. Talking on my ass. So basically, the FBI was alerted to the Georgia school shooting we just had recently, a year ago.
Okay.
They're alerted to him because on discourse, he had been talking about doing actions and about having guns. There was something about his name too was linked to some sort
It
of
popped up on a thing somewhere.
But I can't remember that because
the FBI were aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now then, the FBI says that they did alert the Georgia sheriff's office, and they went out and talked to the dad, who claimed that hey, all the guns are locked up, everything's fine.
Okay.
And then hey, Christmas comes along and he buys him an AR-15.
He bought the gun.
Yes, the gun that's used. That's why they're both on trial now. So, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like again shit just always falls apart, right? I don't know. It's fucked up. So FBI claims this one I don't know either. But here, man planning to commit terror attack at Jewish Center in New York City. I think we did an episode on something like that. Near the U.S.-Canada border. So this guy, who was a radical Muslim, 20 years old, Pakistani citizen living in Canada, has been charged with attempting to provide materials supporting and resources designated for foreign terrorist organizations.
That's going to be difficult to prove.
Yeah, I don't know. Although the more I read about this, it sounds like that Canada did a lot of the legwork, so
it might be real.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I don't know.
If the FBI's involvement is minimal, so it might be real.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you got me.
It might be an actual crime may have been committed.
And then we got MSNBC, or sorry, just NBC News. Iranian cyber attack targeting the Trump campaign is likely still underway, FBI says. When it comes to foreign actors seeking the influence of the U.S. elections, however, Russia remains a permanent threat. Intelligence officers. Yeah, ignore AIPAC, who just spent more money than anybody.
Yeah. On every senator.
Yeah, just ignore
why would the Iranians want to upend the Trump campaign?
There's I didn't want to read this one. I'm not going to read it, actually. I'll just tell you what. There's a right wing claim out there saying that the Iranians wanted that they have an assassination plot against Trump. I don't know.
Like, what do they hope to get from that?
I mean, it just sounds all bullshit. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just Russia. It's the same playbook. Okay. I'm just skeptical. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I mean, it seemed like if I made a list of say 10 people that the Iranians should assassinate for political reasons, Donald Trump would not be on that list.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. But that's all I got for FBI. So
okay,
you have some CIA stuff.
You know who would be on the list?
Where the hell is William Burns? William Burns. Where the hell is William Burns? William Burns this week.
London.
Where the hell is William Burns? William Burns. Where the hell is William Burns? William Burns this week.
Oh, good stuff. I'm waiting for it to get old. It never happens.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, he's in London. Yeah, well, he was at the weekend, and he was at a special summit with with the head of MI6.
Oh,
and they were having a meeting about what to do about the world, because the two people who decide what's going to happen in the world in places like Russia and Gaza are, of course, the intelligence chief of MI6, the English intelligence service that James Bond works for, and the intelligence chief of the Americas, which is a guy called William Burns, who is in charge of the CIA. Who I guess Jack Ryan works for, does he?
Yeah.
So basically, don't worry about Russia. We should not be intimidated by Russia's nuclear threats. And another one here, my second link says on CNN, it says CIA chief William Burns dodges question about Iran supplying ballistic missiles to Russia. So Iran wants Trump gone. Iran is supplying Russia with ballistic. Why couldn't they give those ballistic missiles to Hezbollah? Sorry, I shouldn't say that out loud. Right. Anyway, and the last CIA link I have is on datacenterdynamics.com, and the article is reflected in the name of the magazine. CIA looks to cloud computing for access to AI. The Central Intelligence Agency is looking to cloud service providers to help it get access to artificial intelligence capabilities. Right? Blah 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 blah. Where are we? In May 2024, Bloomberg reported that the CIA was using a Microsoft generative AI model that was air-gapped from the internet. According to the report, this was the first time a major large language model had operated fully separate from the internet and was the result of 18 months of work. So I like the idea of, like the old joke of, can you put the internet on a CD for me? Somebody managed to put the internet on like a server just for a private, and it won't be updated at all. They can't be because it's not attached to the outside. That's whatever crazy. Data it's trained on will be out of date by tomorrow.
That's crazy, though.
CIA once again keeping up to date with nothing.
Yeah,
that's my CIA links, and I guess if that's my CIA links, then that's my show. And by my, I mean yours. That's your show because you wrote the script, and you didn't show it to me.
No, I didn't.
No, why did you not show me the script?
Well, I thought if you knew about Shakur and that would be less surprised. Although you seem to not be as surprised as I thought you'd be.
I did not. I never heard of her before.
No, okay.
I've heard of that rap artist who I called erroneously apparently Tupac Shakur. So apparently he's called Tupac Shakur now. That's what we're doing now. If you're going to be fancy about it, oh la di da, comment ça va, Tupac Shakur?
His death is being reinvestigated. I believe they just
again.
Yeah. So
did not another rap guy shoot him? No.
It was a Biggie Smalls or something that they thought.
Biggie Smalls.
I honestly, once upon a time I knew about that. I know I'm almost positive that there was a corrupt member of the LAPD, as if they're not all corrupt, but had been kind of reported to be possibly one of the hitmen. I knew that, but I don't know if that's how it panned out. It's been.
I guess we'll find out. Who's doing the investigation?
I don't know.
Maybe get the Canadians to do it.
It gets Canadians to do it.
Right?
Yeah, but it'll get done. So yeah.
Okay, we can't get the LIB to do it for obvious reasons. About the LAPD, we can't get the FBI to do it. Okay, so that's our show then.
Yes, it is. Next week we'll be. Are we doing CIA next week, or are we going to be doing Founding Fathers soon? Yes. I've been asked, or founding fuckheads. I did get asked about that the other night. So
you did get asked.
I did get asked. I probably should have talked about this before online, but yeah. So
by someone who saw Founding Fuckheads 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely be doing that, or a CIA one.
So,
and then anything,
or we may be watching a film. We have a film we're going to try to watch. We're trying to watch if we can get a way to do it for free.
It's also possible that I will not have the script written in time. If that happens, we will be watching a film.
We'll be watching a film.
So, well, I give you a hint of what's going to happen. The script I'm working on is either no hints, but there's two of them. Okay. One of them is to do with Israel, so you'll like that one.
Cool.
Good times. Not to do that.
I'm sure it won't be sad and gut wrenching at all.
Okay.
So, all right. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Maybe. Some of you. Bye.